Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Ken.
All right. That's former Miss White Mountain Apache Queen Candace DeClay. She sang the national anthem yesterday at the Alchese boys baseball game senior night. And so wanted to just tease you with that. Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Jerry Gloshay Jr. I'm Chief of Staff for the Executive Office of the Tribal Chairwoman of White Mountain Apache Tribe. I work for Chairwoman Gwendena Lee-Gatewood. Welcome to another Saturday edition here. It's Saturday, May 1. Behind me, I have my ASU and Sun Devil decorations. It's for a reason. It's for a good reason. I'll tell you more about that later on in the show here. But without further ado, let's welcome our honorable chairwoman, Gwendena Lee-Gatewood. There she is. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. A little stressed this morning, but looking forward to today's program here. It's 78 degrees here in White River and sunny skies. So nice day to do some yard work. Busy week again, Chairwoman. We have a special program today, a very educational program regarding our rural water system. But before we get to that, do you have any announcements? And then, well, we were going to talk baseball too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm here helping take care of my son move out of his dorm. So after the show, we're going to go do that. And we're also part of the ASU Hurrah. So that's coming up on Monday. But for today, we're getting his dorm situated and very excited. It's 96 degrees here. It's hot. So anyway, I understand Alchese Falcons girls and boys had their game last night, and what a thriller. The boys won by 1 run. And we want to do a quick shout out, Jerry, Mr. Producer. Shout out to the boys team and the girls, and a special shout out to Ezekiel Walker. We're proud of you, #1 supporter since Little League. Thank you to coaches Elmer Kosen, Robbie Titla, Kyle Gussione, Sterling Gussione, and Coach Newcomb and Coach Acosta of Alchese High School. We'll continue to be your support and #1 fans. One more year at AHS. We love you, Ezekiel. Falcon Strong. That is from his mom, Abby, and dad, Van Walker, and the family. And also a special happy birthday wish to Mr. Fritz Walker. There he is. He is a #1 fan of Alchese, probably because of his nephew, Ezekiel. Happy birthday, Fritz. May God shower you with blessings. And that is also from Van and Abby Walker and family. Alchese boys and girls, we're so proud of you. I myself played fast pitch softball and baseball growing up. So I love the game. And if you ask me to fast pitch right now, I probably couldn't get it across the strike zone, but after a practice session, maybe.
Wow, that's good. If I were to do that, I think it'll go this way or that way, you know. So no control for this guy right here. But
right.
I was very impressed. You know, Chairwoman, it was kind of hectic at the office yesterday. We knew that was going to happen, and we knew you were taking care of business for your son, and that's good. But we were running all over the place. and we got there early because we thought that the game or the presentation was going to be before the game. The softball girls played at 2 o'clock, but instead they waited for the umpire, so it was a delay, and so they said they'll do it after the game. I said, "Oh, good." So we finally calmed down. I went back and I took care of a few more things, and then I said, "Oh man, we got to get back just in case." This was around 4 o'clock, so I arrive at the field packed, lots of cars, no parking spots, and a lot of people behind the dugout and right behind the backstop. People just admiring the game. It's the last game of the year. It's senior day for the Lady Falcons. Three of them are seniors, and so when I got there, Chairwoman, the score was 12-2 in favor of Blue Ridge. And I don't know about the 10-run rule thing, but it was still in progress. And so the Falcons were the home team, so they bat at the last of the inning. So I guess it must have been the bottom of the third or something when I got there, or fourth. And wouldn't you know it, they started making hits. Ping, 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 another one, another one, another one. And then a runner would advance, and then ping, and then you should hear the roar, and scores would come in, and before you know it, it was like maybe 12-8, and oh my gosh, all of a sudden we got a game on our hands, and the Blue Ridge pitcher, oh man, very impressive how they pitch. This Chairwoman, and I ain't kidding, I go to a lot of sporting events. This was the best in the history of my life, the best girls softball game I've ever been a part of. I mean, it was awesome. And it was an honor to represent you as we did give some items away to the seniors after the game. But eventually Blue Ridge scored one more run. And so that was a very important run. But the Falcons were last at bat, and they still had the rally going. And guess what? They got up to 12. It was 13-12 going into the last inning. And the girls, were all pumped up. And I am so sorry. I thought I had videoed the rally, and I thought it was like maybe 40 seconds. And then I thought I'd videoed the girls' little chant. They have a little chant in the dugout. I don't know what they say. When I was in Little League, it was easy. Hey, bada, 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 swing! That was it. But the girls, they got this real sophisticated. It's like a song. I was drawn into it. And I recorded it, I thought. And I didn't. I'm just so mad. I was just, But anyway, Chairwoman, it was the best game, and the fans were really into it, and a lot of horns honking, and the roar when it got very, very close. And it just seemed like at the bottom of the seventh inning, because they only play 7 innings. Can't even, my fingers, 7 innings. And so it seemed like the momentum was on the Falcons side, but bing, right straight to a Blue Ridge player, out at first, 1 out. Bing, another one, a hard hit, right straight to a Blue Ridge player, and she catches it and throws it to first, out, 2 outs. And it's like, oh man, pressure's on. And so, you could feel it, the tension. And when you know it, another really hard hit, ping, and it went right to the player again, and she caught it. And she threw it to first, and that was it. But what a dramatic game. It was the last game of the year. And I'm sorry, I don't know the coach's name. I should know. But I overheard that that's her last game. All I got to say is that, you know what? There's a long 360 some odd days or whatever till the season starts again, 300 days maybe. Maybe between those 300 days, she can change her mind. She's a good coach, very good coach. Maybe she's got some good reasons, but the girls, they're going to have a lot of players returning. And I'm sorry, I don't have all their names, Chairwoman. But the parents and the players enjoyed your gift. Very awesome. Flowers, softball, like the big league gum thing,
Oh, good.
and Gatorade, and I don't know. Yeah, it was all good. Um, so, you have any comments on the girls before we switch to the boys' side?
I'm just so proud of the girls, and I hope the coach can stay. But if her, whatever reasons the coach has to depart, that's a part of, you know, things like that happen. But girls, since you're all returning next year, spend your time practicing grounders, batting. If you're a pitcher, have your dad. This is what I used to do: get a tire, a car tire, and just pitch to it all day. As long as you can, get it in the zone, and work on your speed and your release. All of that will help you. And just learning how to slide. That was something that we had to master from Coach Bingham at Sholo Junior High and high school, and then all my little league coaches out there. And being a pitcher in little league, that was my biggest memory. And I know for all of you parents and your daughters out there, what a tremendous opportunity for a scholarship to go and play at the collegiate level. I know our kids can do it, and I'll just say, softball girls, I'm so proud of you, and really hope that that you have an even better season next year. And to the coaches, thank you. All that practice and fun times. And if you want to go to a softball camp, go for it. And if you need help getting there, fundraising, whatever, do it, and we'll be glad to help you do that. That goes for the boys as well. And the softball, I wanted that in the flowers just because my heart's special for fast pitch softball, because I did it practically all my life. And I used to play down in Canyon Day with former Chairman Dallas Massey and all the Walker family, and just doing all the tournaments. So I have a special love for baseball and softball, because that's something that I used to do practically every weekend, my whole high school, collegiate time. So.
Oh, very good. I didn't know that. So something good to know about you. And yeah, the girls, I think that's very good advice. The tire thing, that's a very excellent idea. They got the nucleus of the team kind of coming back, but the three seniors, congratulations on a good year, and best of luck in your future endeavors. And shout out to the parents following them around. Maybe you have to buy a bat, have to buy softball, have to buy gloves, and drive them to this town, drive them to that town, practice with them. I mean, it involves family and relations. So good job. Now, the boys, I know we don't have a lot of time here. What another great game. It was I stayed through the whole thing. It was kind of windy at the beginning, but Blue Ridge is a very good baseball team. And I'll just say had a great team 2 years ago. They went to the semifinal in the state 2A tournament. And then last year, COVID happened. Last year's team, we had a whole bunch of players returning from the team from 2 years ago. This year's team, mostly a lot of the players had left from last year's team. So they were kind of starting all over again, if you will, because of COVID. So this year's season wasn't really the best, but they were still a very good team. And last night, I'll just say, probably played their finest game of the year. Ezekiel Walker was on the mound. He pitched a complete game, and I didn't know this till last night. Coach Acosta said that a pitcher has a limit pitch count. And so at the last pitch of the game, that was his last pitch, and he was going to be yanked and in place for another player. But I'll get to that shortly. There, a little bit of drama. Lots of cars. You saw the national anthem sung by Candace DeClay. The backstop, right behind the backstop, the bleachers, two of them were full. People standing right there in that area. People in their cars, all surrounding the baseball field. A lot of people from Pine Top Lakeside supporting Blue Ridge. A lot of tribal members on the girls team from Blue Ridge. Good job, girls. And Anyway, the crown dancers dance at the beginning, and chairwoman, we gave the boys baseball, the big league bubble gum, and beef jerky, and Gatorade, and so they like that. And your little certificate with the prayer on there was very awesome, very well done. That was straight from you, and so good job to you on that. And so anyway, play ball. First inning, right off the bat, the boys had the rally, the Alchese play real well. And Blue Ridge started out on bat, and Falcons defense were there. You just kind of knew, wow, this could be something special. 3 outs right away. And then the boys got bing, 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 bing. They had 4-0 or 4-1 against Blue Ridge. And then the game progressed, and Alchese extended their lead to probably 6-1. And I was like, wow, this is still happening. And it's like bottom of the 4th. Now we're going into the 5th and 6th and 7th, the nitty gritty. Here comes Blue Ridge. Oh my gosh, did they made a big scare on Alchese. They cut the deficit to 1. And so next thing you know, it's I think 7-6 at that point, going towards the last 6th and 7th inning. And so Ezekiel was still, had some velocity on his pitching. The boys' defense was awesome. And it was almost like watching 2 warriors just going at it, and they were Blue Ridge has a good team. They have a good record. They're in the 3A East, and we just got into the 3A. Anyway, now comes the drama. Blue Ridge scores that 1 run at their top of the 6th. Now it's a 1-point game, and Alchese didn't score anything in the last bottom of the 6th. So now we're going to the top of the 7th, and 1-point lead for the Falcons. And here we go. Ezekiel got the 1 out. The guy caught him looking, I think. And then the second one, a hard hit line drive, and our defense got it and got the ball. Blue Ridge, I think, scored 1. So yeah, it was 8-6. So now it's 8-7. That's the score. Finally remember. And so last batter, one of the premier batters for Blue Ridge with 2 outs. Here he goes, and Ezekiel, he's almost approaching 105 pitches, and so his arm is probably feeling like jello, and so strike 1, and then foul ball, then strike 2. So here we go, 1 more strike, come on. And I asked the coach, what pitch did you call for that last one? And he said, Jerry, we had to just do it. It had to be straight fastball as hard as he can. And that's what he did. Poof, poof, dust on the glove, strike 3. The whole place erupted, Chairwoman. It was so awesome. And everybody jumping around, and fans high-fiving each other. And Alvin DeClay, councilman from District 3, was about to do cartwheels right there. But it was that fun, and it was great. And you brought some food over. And Apache Behavioral Health had hamburgers and hot dogs. So Ronaldo Dazen, councilman from District 2, excellent job in doing the play-by-play announcing. So it kept, the audience informed as to, where we are, what inning, what's the score, what's the count, the pitch count. So
and
it was awesome.
Vice Chair also gave out flowers.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And even Casey Velasquez from District 4 brought his stuff to the team too. So it was very well rounded at the beginning of the program, the beginning of the game, and so I think folks from Pinetop Lakeside were okay with it. They understood it's senior night, and they got a taste of some crown dancing. And Ronaldo was pretty funny with the microphone sometimes. It was one of the big ones was that, okay, Pinetop Lakeside, if you see a dog or if you see a horse on the street and you want it, go ahead, take it home with you. It's supposed to be at home. Those horses are supposed to be at home, but if nobody wants it, you can. That kind of drew a big laugh right there in the whole area there. But Ronaldo did good there, Chairwoman. But I'll just say one and another bad news. This is the thing. I got the Samsung 10, new one, and 3 videos at the crucial times. It didn't happen, and I was just so disappointed. But I had a post-game interview with Ezekiel, which was like under a minute, and where did it go? I don't know, but oh well, it just turned into a photo. But I'm glad we were able to see the photo there. So, but all in all, that's it, Chairwoman. Back to you. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. We have a great program today. We are going to go into the rural water system project that we have been advertising. You did a ad for that on KNB, and there it is. It's the information meeting on the rural water system. All of you watching, the White Mountain Apache tribe has been working well over 40 years to try to get this rural water system developed, and here we go. This is the opening slide. And next slide, please. It's the information meeting that we need to do. My name is Gwendena Lee-Gatewood. I am the tribal chairwoman for the White Mountain Apache tribe. Good morning, everybody. Next slide, please. And this is the map of part of Arizona. You can see on the upper left-hand corner the Arizona map, but here is the reservation. It's right there with the area identified of where the rural water system project will be. It's on the green area. That the brown outline is our reservation, with the red identifying the White Mountain Apache tribal area. And next slide, please. And the White Mountain Apache Tribe Water Rights Quantification Act. At the request of the tribe, a federal negotiation team was appointed for the tribe in 2004 by the U.S. Secretary of Interior. 5 years later, the Water Rights Quantification Agreement was formally approved by Tribal Council and by other settling parties in the Salt River Valley and towns along the tribe's northern boundary soon thereafter. The White Mountain Apache Water Rights Quantification Agreement was confirmed by the U.S. Congress in the Claims Resolution Act of 2010. A major consideration for the quantification agreement was to provide long-term water needs of the reservation. Di tatlikaisan inde di nantancha sitayo ku nuhin nanta uli ito di federal negotiation team definitely a nuhi tatlikaisan inde danosli di team ibisanos ka a tatlikaisan inde hipa how to be one how zihi yati kuya oni tehto lehi 2004 na shalzai ola US Secretary of Interior bitsaga ekero ashla e bisel zahi a water rights quantification agreement no hin nanta da kuya tsikai saan inde nanta e wada isohon jo dan ye dit is begotelio ko that ehesao da linsto ko Phoenix yula a Salt River Valley that ding dak a da wa tu ba binil ado lehi bi wa ko seo di ko ba hao di a di water rights quantification agreement a da wa jodan diki bis nan ancha sitayo akono hinanta a United States Congress a diet o kuya iti on ya tsikay saan inde daw li utis begotelio di tu biwa ya iti in Jordan dik diet ebikero United States Congress ndotni di Claims Resolution Act 2010 nibi wada itso koseo eye no hakioristo o outza Diniti quantification agreement in doc quantification layu a akdak diko g dini a hatila dawa binil ado le zel alze di tu by ti ola a dawa how shet nandastawa binil diko bakeng kahla huseo a quantification agreement ni injo kuset latslikay saan inde dahaji tuba huli to leslibiwa. Ayla, next slide, please. And now I am pleased to introduce to you Cheryl Pelzot. She's our Rural Water System Project Manager for the White Mountain Apache Tribe, who will now take you to the next phase of the slides. And Cheryl Pelzot, tislikaisan indebel tanki, tubig ijidel ben nasosoli, John Hauya, Esan Bana Istinida. D2 bigyan na itziko hultuhi no hayitaris io harasiltini la a project manager no hanli. Cheryl Pelzo, go right on ahead. I think you're muted. You might be muted.
I just saw that, and I'm infamous for that. Sorry about that. Good morning. I want to thank you both for this opportunity to introduce the Rural Water System Project. I also want to thank you for just the introduction of the softball and baseball happenings from yesterday. I wasn't able to go, but the girls, I've seen them play since they were in Little League. We started the Little League softball about 4 or 5 years ago. So to see these young women playing at this level now and the experience they have, it was, just so proud of them. So congratulations to them. So my name is Cheryl Pilzote. I'm the Rural Water System Project Manager, and I've been working for the tribe since the early 2000s. So I've been involved in the negotiations of the quantification agreement, as well as the start of the Rural Water System Project. Next slide. So what is the Rural Water System Project? And technically you hear about the storage, the diversion, and the distribution of the water from the North Fork of the White River to all the communities. And so we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail and provide some general information on what that means to us as community members. And like the chairwoman had mentioned, this project is part of our water rights agreement. Many of our community members will benefit from this project and from the water that will be stored behind this dam system. And the pipeline will distribute this water all the way out to CBQ. So the history of the rural water system. As you know, our communities have experienced water shortages. We hear from the tribal utility of water conservation that needs to happen in our communities when our water systems, our river water systems are low. We've heard from communities like Carrizo where the water turns black because of the manganese that is in their water. And then from remote areas like CBQ who depend on springs that are in that area. And so as their communities get larger, they don't have a backup supply of water for their system. And so we also have problems with the water tasting weird. I've heard many people talk about how the water tastes like corn. And so even that has been an issue that we have been recently dealing with. And so we have continued to have problems with our water supply, our water quality taste. And so the benefit of this system is that it would provide us with a more reliable and high quality water system. Next slide. So just a quick, just an interjection, Chairwoman. I'm not sure if you wanted to relay some of that information per slide.
Sure.
In Apache or
sure.
Okay.
Okay, if the producer can go back to the first slide of Cheryl's portion. The Rural Water System Project D2 be'eritehi e big'inait. Gola lle tu da sika tu bidaik into left minor flat yeah was abora no se di sa saan indehi sa itis bago tell you daw li a pa at pa how tun li a big na itiki bi wala di how sik eri di si tura sikahi North Fork yet aku tu how na pi itzel do leshi sa tu tanakisi a nito a tura slat do leshi bi wa big na itiko no chida aula di tu ba eri tahi di rawa sa saan inde chilwajira ko shibikoshi benil ado leshi ko but no ha as de eola. Next slide please. And a D Rural Water System Project, D 1970, na beldi yai ni chilwaj bide yu gariso distribiko yu aye tu no icha anati aye tu don stera sto seye D Cheryl yahatzi seye tu I natang au ochchi seye sao au le a sto Childe do leshi bi want to cut no ha cut era everyone a two anati a tedo ha no tinhira di segeme no be no hito di do leshi bi wa di ko no ha as de la di two bi dai na di Quantification Act Water Rights Quantification Act that's the two ra ha ra wa benil a do leshi bi wa a be no ha security to hi bi wa pana ste hiola. Next slide. Ana di saan inde di no haas de tu dasla do leshi bi wa di tu bi daiki ye White River das di tu li el ko pero chi di tu be eri tsehi dik at ye da wa tan ni ge hat I be as de be sas de do leshola a chilwujira ko chibi koshi tu jon a tu chetla da ye da wa ka no han ero leshi bi wa bikin Ezekiel di saan inde hipa di pana istera ronina 1970 na peoriai. Next slide please. And this is where Cheryl, I believe you can take over again because this is where we were at. Okay.
All right. So this slide shows you an overview of the project and where it starts and where it ends. And so if you look at the top right corner, you'll see that this is where the proposed reservoir, dam and reservoir will be. The water would be released and it would go to a treatment facility down by Diamond Creek, and it would be pumped up to just west of the community of Diamond Creek. From that area, the water then would be distributed to the remaining amount of the communities through a new pipeline that would extend from White River through Cedar Creek, Carrizo, and Sibique.
Di tu be zahola tu how that dasikahi project reservoir that was a two okay la do pleasure only okay minor flat dam you aku dasikai yo la kero tun lini yaw li do lesa da ko water treatment plant and diversion expansion that was a situ o only la dinish bika a two tanakis do lesa la el das la do lesa biwa e kero e sitsoko in tsoki das ola e chilwajira o goddess sohyedish chibikoshin nil all a in tsoki a two editse two a konli do lesid a no da aula a map be eko ba zahi hayula da no sinliyo tiko be editse do lesa. Cheryl.
Okay. Next slide. Okay, so this slide talks a little bit about the dam and the reservoir, or the next two slides. And so the dam itself would be a roller compacted concrete dam, and it would be at a height of 160 feet and a crest length of 400 feet. So that width there would be about 400 feet. Where is this dam going to be located? It's going to be between White River and Honda on Highway 73. And if you look at milepost 350, you'll see it on the east side of the road. The reservoir would cover about 170 acres when it's full, and it would provide 8,600 acre feet of water behind the dam. The way that the reservoir would work is that during our times of high flow, when we have a lot of snow or we have a lot of rainstorm events, this reservoir would capture that water during those high times. And then during the low times, when we're needing more water, it would release that water from the dam.
Di beilza la tu bitai hi how ono le to le li das e ola di beilza bika a how off chucky ya hadzi Cheryl 160 feet tako ye 400 feet crest length. I want you alze la tu haye binil ahi dinidi actually was White River yet hatako minor flat dam je but ano sihola a 8 miles haye alsa adiko eye origato lesla dini a ni the reservoir to that's Kahi 170 acres hayo of choco diko ni area to das kado lesla and di to das kahi nafti here always that's nafti here a to he nafti he a yes that desk oh a that just to that in takba ade ola to das kambe e kero a no hich o di do les to has na nafti here ado we to lini the yahon li you a the t to he bis so anal ho a just to da sound da a da count on ni do les bi wa la a Yao li do les la North Fork of the White River that's the a two haya edi joshi yao how na bi zel do les to edi te diko begin a do les la Cheryl.
Okay. Next. So this picture shows the extent of the water and how it will be stored behind the dam. So on the bottom left part of the photo, you see the road and you see where the dam would be located. And so the water would be stored behind that dam. And as you continue to look up, it would dam up through part of Cottonwood Canyon, and then it would extend through that narrow gorge all the way to the lower log area. So it would even extend past and possibly over that lower log bridge as well. So that's the extent of the initial design of the dam and the reservoir.
D2 das kahi beilza la di das e sen zoki ako to das kahi lela reservoir das di da o lower log je das kahi le ta oze dini e auno lehi e dik to das kahi le hi sehi biwa dik das e la di yao in tin borano si handa yedak o chilwaje White River that they a bits ayat to das kahi lehi a at ella in zoki das e next.
Okay, next slide. And I just realized for this one, we don't have a photo, but for those of you that are familiar of the site, if you drive down to Diamond Creek, you'll see a little 4-foot dam, and there's a fencing around it, and there's a little pumping house that's near it. And so right now, our communities of White River and the greater areas, they get part of their water from this area. And so the site is called a water diversion. The water is diverted from the river. It's taken from the river, and from there it is pumped up to the treatment facility. So the way that this would work is that at the dam site, the water would be released. So it would flow down the natural course of the river, and it would be at that diversion site. It would then be pumped up to the treatment facility, which is located at just west of the community of Diamond Creek. And there will be no changes to the existing fish ladder. There is a fish ladder that is in place there at the intake site, but that will not change. But the place that pumps the water from the river to the treatment facility would also be expanded to meet the higher demand of water.
D2, Tanakis like how na beat Zili water diversion and pump station yahatzi la Diamond Creek yo borano se aku yaw kishtil get le yo inten bishkahyo ki was bidashen o tour yaha bidaistle kat ye to aku na beat Zilla in deba Tanakis hati hadash eslo hati bi segetura de jolo la tunlini hachikaliyo kuya hati de yahona dash kondo it sejo asay kuya bishnada hadash kelda ko treatment plant dash di akuya yikena da izik in de dai glant do le shibi wahti ko katya you Diamond Creek you dash ini at ko no hana izikila diniti new intake those the nige no ha anana ya ola that in chaho seget no hod do le shibiwa I'll just say National Fish Hatchery at Diamond Creek stop pa at le shibiwa diniti akal tu bidaki daw how ta tu daska da leho ajle le yo shok akuya na dai ko pa jote os hatzi sto fish ladder ysti la handi tu bidaki shindiniti shok na dai ko sto dai da pa outi sto bidada dis os awa esto hayuche da eskohi esto pa was diko bikin biko ba alde do lesto la diniti pump station that nige alde 82 da jolo a co-treatment plant you but na bi zel ba itse a co in there that plant do lesto bi wa high sti a co no ha al do lesto bi wa la Cheryl.
Okay, next slide. So the next component of the rural water system is the water treatment plant. For those of you who know where that's at, like I mentioned, it's on the east side of the community of Diamond Creek. And this plant will continue to be there, but basically they're going to expand it about 8 times the production as it is now. So how it would work is that the raw water from the North Fork of the White River would be pumped up to this expanded water treatment plant and undergo treatment processing to purify the water and make it more potable, or what we call drinkable. And this finished water would be stored in a new 1.5 million gallon finished water reservoir, which together with the existing reservoir would provide a total capacity of 3.5 million gallons of water.
Diba izala treatment plant how ono lihi di katju ani bahasti tis chahon wa aldela tu no hadas kado le shibiwa de tu bauli do le shibiwa la dirawa hati ba out ini de hati tu ya daitla ya tu tanakisi tu hail hati biyo at hadash esho He in day he das klar do leshi bi wa ti ko ti ba za he das la dai teson chaho as de do lesla ti tun lini North Fork of the White River is ti lini no ha big in ti do lesla la ti yang ken kayo construction project that's ti bahi ola. Cheryl.
Okay, next slide. So the water distribution system basically what that means is that this is where once the water that is treated at the treatment facility will then be distributed to the communities of White River, Fort Apache, Canyon Day, Cedar Creek, where the pipeline currently extends to, but it will then be extended all the way to Carrizo and to Sibique. The total miles of this is a little over 50 miles, and this will include new pipelines, pumping stations, and also reservoirs that can, or storage tanks that can maintain the water system. This system would be designed to accommodate a growing population. As we know now, and this is another problem that we have, is that there are days when we don't have enough water to provide for our community. So with even the expansion of more water to more communities, the system would provide for our growing communities.
The two Beritzehi, the in quotes that guys in Li'i, White River, Fort Apache, Canyon Day, Cedar Creek, Carrizo, Sibique, a need ola two how Beritzehi met Beritzahi, the communities in Li'i, a binil ado lehi biwa, the niti two Beritzehi, the two pumping station that the esto baalte do la Cedar Creek Carrizo la two das tanks be two das na hayu two storage tank na dili disto alde do la Geronimo Pass Cedar Creek la Sibique Ridge ako storage tank no ha alde do la sto di two be editsehi pa diniti tanigyaw no alde do lehi biwa di inde sao no tinhi bitaya tako benil hibiwa no alde do lehi biwa water demand that di dag o benil hibiwa yahatzi la di kakyun de ha offline di da haje no benil hibiwa de no tinhi gasha no tinhi stop benil ho that tesil lahi lehi biwa dik o bana toke so dik o no alde yola.
Okay, next slide. So this is my last slide, and one of the things that I wanted to make sure I convey is that the benefits of this dam and the treatment facility and the pipelines, part of this whole rural water system, is that one of the main things is it will provide safe and dependable, good quality water. And that's something that our tribe members have been needing and wanting from the various communities. In addition to that, because of the distribution line being expanded, there's more opportunities for the tribe to connect to the system to provide more housing, more commercial and industrial water supply, and new recreation opportunities. And lastly, there's the benefit of the dam itself is that it would provide limited flood control when we have those high flood events, but it also would provide irrigation water. Like, right now, our water is really low. And so what would happen is that this dam would release water during those low times and throughout the summer for those of you who have cornfields and use water for your irrigation water for your cornfields, excuse me. And lastly, it would help to improve the LHSA National Fish Hatchery. The fish hatchery right now is experiencing a lot of problems with warm temperature of their water, and they're experiencing low flows. And so this will help to maintain and provide water for the hatchery, but also for the streams and aquatic habitat.
Di hat onga alde nzih leo tu hi tu dawaha bay dahi at no hi tslekaisa an indehi tu stel outlihi to how sao aufchihora tak ora haje akat tu no hauli do lehi biwa inde pa alde yola you to di Cheryl yahatzi tu be eritsehi leye sa tu to label lios benada teji kenan lehin lini leyu tu outi hati ken la hinda hatjeho tu outi esto benich o diro lesi biwala a du hada nafti hera tu ya hon li di das e hayun personality you tour ya hon li do ha nafti hera en di sto di tu bikin na itiki no hich o di do lesi biwala tu pa wuli do lesi biwa di leia hati la Alchise National Fish Hatchery look dani look you to other thing la dai daho we sto in there start in there da here in there da waha look dai sto ko look harai le ho ko no just guys an in there bidage you wahna kasto disto bi daristi to le libi wan la tu hana nafti hera tu ti that sound best chena ekjoslo al ido les look danist hi which o dido les we want out to say National Fish Hatchery you disto loki no hich o disto in de hipa di dikovic and to les la.
So what I have been trying to do is provide you with an overview of the main components of this rural water system project. If you go to the project website, there is a lot of additional information on the site, and there will be a recording of this presentation posted at that site as well. On the project website, you can also review the questions that are asked and submit your comments on the project. So I really want to encourage you to look at the website. If you have any questions or if you have comments, provide that there. If you have additional comments or you need some additional direction on the project itself, and you can contact the tribe legal department or planning department, and we can provide you information from there as well. So Dominique Graziani from Bureau of Reclamation will discuss the environmental review process, the scoping, and why it's important for you to provide comments on this project.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks, Chairwoman. Hi, my name is Dominic Graziani. I'm an environmental protection specialist with the Phoenix Area Office of the Bureau of Reclamation. I'm just going to spend a few minutes going over Reclamation's role in the proposed rural water system project. As Cheryl and the Chairwoman mentioned, the Water Rights Quantification Act 2010, which provides for funding for this project, identifies roles and responsibilities and fundamentally directs reclamation in two ways. First, it directed the Secretary of Interior to construct the rural water system for the use and benefit of the White Mountain Apache tribe. The tribe is planning, designing, and constructing the project through an agreement with the Secretary, and we at Reclamation are working hand in hand with tribal representatives to this end. Once built, Reclamation will be responsible for initially operating the dam before eventually handing operations over to the tribe. Second, Reclamation is identified as the lead agency for preparing an environmental impact statement, or an EIS, in compliance with the National Environmental Policy Act. I'm just going to call this NEPA, or the NEPA process, from here on out. We're going to talk a little bit more about the NEPA process in the following slides. Very simply, an EIS is a government document that describes the potential impacts of a proposed project on its surrounding environment. This type of document is required prior to development of major federal projects. Next slide, please. In addition to the tribe, the Bureau of Indian Affairs and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers are cooperating agencies for the NEPA process on this project. These federal agencies are acting as cooperating agencies in the NEPA process because they either have jurisdiction over some part of the project or the resources that might be impacted, or otherwise bring special expertise with respect to any environmental impact. Next slide, please. So what is the National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA? NEPA is a procedural federal environmental law, which requires federal agencies to incorporate information on the environmental impacts of a project into the decision-making process and to inform the public of what those impacts are. Public engagement, like this public meeting, the project website, newspaper ads, etc., are a critical part of the NEPA process. What NEPA does not do is dictate what elements of a project can be completed or determine whether a project as a whole will be built. In summary, the purpose of NEPA is more to inform the decision-making process and to share and engage with the public and receive input from the public along the way. Next slide, please. So why are we preparing an EIS? As a federal agency, the Bureau of Reclamation prepares an EIS when a proposed project has the potential to result in significant environmental impacts. Due to the scope and scale of the rural water system project, it was determined that an EIS was the appropriate type of document. An EIS is a large document with several sections. This includes a description of the project being proposed. When an agency proposes a project, several options or alternatives to complete the project are identified. The EIS also identifies and describes the affected environment, which are the conditions and resources currently present within an area where the project would be completed. The document will compare the proposed project alternatives with the affected environment to help identify what impacts to environmental resources could occur as a result of the proposed action. An EIS also includes a list of permits or approvals that are required to complete a project, as well as any mitigation measures which serve to avoid, minimize, or reduce environmental impacts if they're required. Next slide, please. The process of developing an EIS consists of 4 main steps. The first is the publishing of a notice of intent to prepare an EIS in the Federal Register. The notice of intent, or NOI, is a formal announcement of the government's intent to prepare an EIS. The notice of intent for this project was published in the Federal Register on April 19th, and it contains information on the proposed action and possible alternatives, a description of the agency's proposed scoping process, including whether, when, and where any scoping meetings, like the one we're having right now, will be held, and gives the name and contact information for a person within the agency who can answer questions about the proposed action and the environmental impact statement. Next slide, please. The NOI also starts the public scoping period, which is the period in which the federal agency and the public collaborate to define the range of issues and potential alternatives that could be addressed in the EIS. This is where we're at now in this project. Reclamation is here to invite the public, stakeholders, and other local, state, or federal agencies, and really any interested party to help identify the range of reasonable alternatives and the potential environmental issues to be analyzed in the EIS. We've set up a number of opportunities to review project materials, get more information, and submit comments. This event is one opportunity for us to share information with the public. As it's been mentioned, we have also established a project website where you can read more about the project, ask questions, and submit official comments online. The public scoping period is from April 19th through May 19th. After that time, we'll review all comments received and begin development of the draft EIS. Next slide, please. As the chairwoman noted, the tribe has been working to develop the reservation's water resources for decades. We've previously completed the scoping process and some public scoping meetings back in 2013. Since then, we've been working on additional engineering studies associated with the Minor Flat Dam. Given how much time has passed, we decided that another round of public scoping meetings would be the right choice. Next slide, please. As required by NEPA, the EIS will include and consider a proposed action and a reasonable range of alternatives to that proposed action. Because the location of the dam is limited by engineering and topographic requirements, The reasonable alternatives may include a combination of various reservoir operations and priorities, including projected rural water system demands, provide water for agriculture, and maintaining in-stream flows for the White River. As a part of this scoping process, Reclamation is seeking your assistance with identifying additional potential alternatives or components of alternatives to the proposed action. Please keep in mind that as suggested alternatives should resolve a problem with the proposed action, any comments or suggestions for an alternative should be as detailed as possible and should describe the purpose or rationale. Next slide, please. The scoping process is also important to help establish a range of issues to be considered in the EIS. We've established a preliminary list of resources that could be evaluated in the EIS, including those listed on this slide. For example, an evaluation sources would consider disturbance to plants and wildlife from construction and operation of the rural water system. An analysis of noise would consider noise from construction equipment and/or operations on nearby communities. This list may be increased or decreased based on input from the public and a more detailed review of information. Next slide, please. A number of special studies have already been completed or are in the process of being completed to assist in the EIS effort. Some of those include wetland delineations, field surveys for threatened or endangered species like the yellow-billed cuckoo and the southwestern willow flycatcher, and also comprehensive hydrological modeling is in process of being completed as well. Next slide, please. As I stated previously, the scoping period will end May 19th. At that time, we'll begin work on the draft EIS. The draft EIS is currently scheduled to be released in January of 2022. The public will have another opportunity to comment on the project and the draft EIS at that time. From there, we will work to complete the final EIS, which is currently scheduled to be completed at the end of 2022. Construction of the rural water system is expected to begin in 2024 and continue on until 2027. Next slide, please. As the Chairwoman and Cheryl also mentioned, we welcome your input. We've established a project website which includes information on the project, and a recording of this presentation will be linked there. In addition, we've also established a place on the website where you can upload or type comments directly on the project directly into the website. The website address is given on this slide here. You can also email questions or comments directly to me at the email address listed on this slide. For anyone who may not feel comfortable with the website or email in general, you can mail comments to my office. The address is listed here. It's also listed on the project website and on any newspaper ads that were announcing the scoping period. To be considered in the draft EIS, comments must be received by May 19th. Thank you for your time today and have a great rest of your weekend.
Mr. Producer, if you could go back to slide 16, please. It starts out after Dominic's intro. Dominic Graziani, it was said, the Bureau of Reclamation, the Bureau, we nantancha sitaya leget yidadis dole we want to go benastikila Phoenix dis begotelia ayan hanyai diniti slide the Water Rights Quantification Act, 2010, not Hoskioriston, D2 Bidaikli, Dole Hibiwa, Ye Reclamation, A Unsitin Hola Environmental Impact Statement, Daitin Doc L, D Nick, was Ahi, A Begin a Tik Dole Hibiwa, A Han, Ye that is Eos on Nick How Begin a Tik Dole D Reclamation, A Unsitin Hola. D how Benastiki National Environmental Policy Act at all wahak at chini out there ABE ni how banashte heat how begin a ziki bound ons on so the AL begin a zikos on D reclamation aya ita it that is in ola next slide please. di tatel narantil seket yitararis cooperating agency ay indihola reclamation tisikaisan indeyas na da isig doles di inde tapi hati yarabin ni seget basas de os Indian Self-Determination dasins di say Education Assistance Act a bisko we used Bureau of Indian Affairs ayan di sto seget no HOD do lesa hati halbik en itziki hayu intin of de talayu ayan di sto how the ayel bik en itziki bi sto itakuya bi yati das ahile sola hati tu bidasiki hibi wa dawa ni bik en itziki be bi sto itakuya ko sei how bana stehi ita yati no hayis ado les we sto USACE, AN, Digital Cooperating Agency, ALU, Section 404, Clean Water Act, tu how Titlani how banaistehi akuya bakeresh la Clean Water Act dasinti indako. AN, Digital D2 bichidel bigo ya dao ni imbe di ni how bikena itzigi sok hati tu yu dai dahi esto sege itaris in dolesi biwa eye ita nada ezik dolesla ye next slide please di NEPA yahati la National Environmental Policy Act a nantan cha sedaya o nasos hanike aya o di ani bahasi ni how bikena ezik dolesi hati sasde out ini ye nohi inde danos ini nohi yati hati na inskit leyu how no da hal ini di nipa das di ay ita na binskokla ye di rauma ni how big ena itziki pi na sos ye wak era chiu dik open astik kila we have thought no he no da hal zihon la how ban hati ban atsedes kesi awan tiri chi no da hal ini ola diko ba kenka o zei eye halanda no si hibiwa dini di nipa diu hati ban istehi how project how hati dawa dari jolo to haran dija benefit ehda ndiula nipa ukstuho hati na hunstoki ja no che oni deho istege ko da diu di open astikiola ye nipa yo anohi inde danos ini se inda statehi di chi dainis ini se da ko May 19 je besto tan diula how labanansin kes hatila bi wana inskiti aya di nipa sege no HOD do lesola a na ben stoki imbe decision making process that was engage the public the ko no hena sticky Environmental Policy Act di a bikik ehyo benastikiola dini ani aristik el nipa yo do hat el da de jolo do ran deja da san benhik ehda diu kesh nehati in dan ushtuho tat el han ti da rabishtoki ita akuya bi yati nas ai ateri to bikin na itiki do dazli ha yo banaistehi. Next slide please. An environmental impact statement in the Yahatzi Alio Bureau of Reclamation bitage ila the environmental impact statement di hatiwa la auti di nzihleo environmental impact statement kaischini alze di ni banestehi tiko to bitaikehi sej dawitse ahi wajib ya na ektik to lehi wa ku hati daw li lashin how biche au de package chins sege bounce be dawa hati bana stehi dawa bagere chins ni how yikena de ektik to lehi le hati jo bidiri dihleyo hatida lini how la abit o di huzel akuya chini la environmental impact statement di aya sa edan das the dita how sa big sao begin exikleyo sao bana chitleyo HOD hati skewdi don he ba out in hibiwa and digital environmental impact statement is to get natos be ye chin himbe and digital ba adela alternatives they see ye in natos out any permits at ibik in itik do leshin digital ni be how chike daudet ita banachiga you nigosan a ba yarao ya ye iti says dawaha hati tahi aku say tlonde adawaha banatukes say how bich o dihi a dahim be di how sikedi dihi koye environmental impact statement ya a yarawa bag exchange or lesala. Next slide please. NEPA NEPA process a nito yahatsi la a liu the notice of intent that di hati bagina itik to lehi bishida hat eons la se hati how yaken kahi na di project the rural water system project ipa notice of intent April 19 2021 na pag-exchange ayat na sos hante di how begin itik to lehi how wodigahi akuya pag-exchange sa a public scoping process those a in there dahi inde how bishida alde akuya and this to exchange di don't how wodigahi a kosa di ko ba ken ka do le hozel al ze how wodigahi environmental impact statement notice of intent dashdin o kosa dionji di ko ba ken ka do le hozel al ze. Next slide please. Public scoping notice of intent a kosa diba ken kahdolesh nesto diki bikero na tospe a go alze a be public scoping period destin l d federal agencies dawa itakuya yikenada izikdoleshi se a public no hui indehi da hit and dash tatel di how begin itiki a dawa no chida de la se ni how biche out de how sinara ni he environmental impact statement ni how la biche out de di yang ken kai he bikero a public scoping period dash di akuya na inskit dawi how banansin kesin das bahansi wala public scoping period dahdiya haji la was she yet in shahin zihleyo dawi hatibi wana inskit leyo April 19 yarak o May 19 jing dasla aday tahi bi ya akal sahjing hati tabi wana inskit di wana sinkesi di na itiki bijidel ayan daws ala ni calendar bi ka outlet das kona minor flat dam YouTube bi dike hi atita bi wana irish kit leyo da yati inshallah you April 19 yadak o May 19 jin howls ala that was all outlet niki arasinde hanbon seni aku di bayeti la out there da no sihi bi wa a public scoping a ALZ. Next slide please. Anahat 2013 na public scoping period. Yeah, esto alzalane. That was reclamation sa itself an in there. Ana ndito scoping meetings ana ini. Dini ana leyo do ha jon sa na kahrani do the yahan a dawi sabi teo a haji janaka a de pahi na dai tislau dai ti ba auti awan kuya no da alde la sto diniti to lashin e the tinge lasa delte di to be dai he dai tis be na da ti la go o a da ti da tana o ya 2013 yashta o kari koya environmental impact statement di bakin kahola di that shit no hit no chance link at za di ta big en ti be to be dai hin sao hat ita out ini ta e de se out in go ze hibi wa the ti delay se la den se o ze e ta be out and ya kariba kana kahula environmental impact statement di elwa no hi inde ti da no I ti chi e no da al de eola. Next slide please. Environmental impact statement alternatives hatila bishkahyodandas a banatsu kesi a bahauti la Didaro Nina Baken Kai scoping process 2013 na Belriane minor flat dam how no halik editi to le shibiwa dinidi NEPA a agency environmental impact statement yik enada zikla how di hlik editi to le shi we to de da haji to bauli do le hibi wa how bak en da chini you will to saka no ha al de ya e da wa in de not in shi pa se nai ni ho da wa pa bauli to ba no hauli do le hi pa al de olati environmental impact statement dbi ya we used in there Canada di tlahia tu yanara kliji a and di tu how pa holi to le hibi wa akoyan di bagesh chino le a tone lini how last up or tone handling or the lehi a wa kuya bagesh chila environmental impact statement dbi ya how begin a gijo don't say ora sao big en tiki elze hatijo ash tisain dishan da ain dishan di stoten zishi dinida wa akuya nantan cha ba say aku Washington DC no hinantai bichida as de ibiwa ya dida wa biyo din e ne ko se ibiwa daro bichi dari di kosa kuya rawa bageshi nawa bahara sinzi dan de ibiwa dan ko da tita biwa na edis biwa na ja ye biwa na edis kitsilin le yo aya kuya environmental impact statement that di aya na haskuri do le biwa la awa no hi inde tirichi dan of ini how bana tilis kesi hat ibiwa na inskiti di to be dai hi aya no ha at ayola hat yati in la dawi ko te dawi ti ta bana tin kesi a dai ti adati awa di no ti je no da al de ayola. Next slide please. The environmental impact statement hatila kuya bagesh chido le hatila banatso keso nzihle yo kuya na wat get chila tu bichidel tu hatibe dahi lejndi le kuya hatida li in the Indian trust assets hande hatibi transportation de how Hans natahi le nuhi climate change kat yudo ha jo song can not tita aya to da waha hati tahi no hostel tada ayan de sto dainis on chalk in de ne begin ki say hatirawa be alde do lesi di akuya environmental impact statement say dandas hall baskiurito na ko de ti tabiwa na toxili yo aya hall securito do lesi a public scoping biya alde do lesla a dirichi a itakuya itapero chi ha no chida alzahi hati bikena itik do lesli say one chaki bits aya indisto ya a ha la berishni do les di kuya bikena itiki count be ori yahi bikedo dikorawa a rawa bak chini das la water resource soils and geology a rawa bak chini akuya bak chino lesla environmental impact statement bi yeah next slide please we used to dai teso but should dai tes hati ba idi kuya sto bak chino lesla environmental impact statement look bak chi kuya das la erawa bibiji alaus na shon yo na ti o tish ndi top ndi akoda o li ya at to be dai hi ye begin ti won yao kuri yao ti rawa ako da li la shin ya no cha as atine da ya ya hanja nau zi ne akat the Yahon now zi you Holland speech or di will say akuya bagesh chi the environmental impact statement DB ya we you stop ti hindi sto hayo hati nada jehla shin in di sto akuya bagesh chi look di sto how look to ba ulini at ye you to ha na not ti da bits I look ye obijos I out to other team be awa sa no ja na rande ein di to kuya bak chiro lesa how bijo di damn no ha de akuya da lini ya das ta hayuta ba da lini pa anana de ne sayu panauchi get akuya bak chi we cultural resources survey and they don't nina hayo hati indai jahla shi daw hati bitaya nadas ne shi indi to hayo bak hayo nadas ne akuya bak shi do lesla we to two hydrological modeling to how begin ziki akuya and to bak shi next slide please di das la ati adas de nzishi environmental impact statement di katye ni how yik enda iziki how bedishnihi bahasti the saada tahi bi ya April to May ayan house hula hati bi wana inskit leyo dawi di kun de leyo aye nuha atela Ekerawi draft impact, environmental impact statement, how hatirawa bak ni how bedishnido lehi January 2022 ho draft draft that's the ha dawa kuya bak dini ku ustuhi out hozel chini ako awos ala dawan youth bikin itik to lesson dini the January 22 ho alzaho public comment period no ha ananas de ola hati yak shi la shin ni hunji do lesla ha no chida alde yati nan do lesla January to March 2022 ya kola di to bitai hidi ko bagaish ni how bedishnido lesli how labanan sin case nishto de do lesla kero we yati yara danyis be kero in there dahi in there public dahi dihi be kero release of final impact statement. A 2022 or December high A which the alde olan which hanite. Kero A alzaho nan ancha sa tayo no hinagta. Ako daw nada izik Washington DC yo. Ako onani tehno lesla A do tirawa minor flat dam ba of the irawa aspag eshi ni how ba na estero lesli ni how ba nisnihi haku hatida idash ni how bicho dido lesli tundi ba how zi dawa shanai jao akuya eye bag echi hula njo badai ton do kariba kerka tirawa aspa how zi out go say be kero minor flat dam of the Beldi Gahla 2024 yeah doc or 2027 next slide please. Awa di G no da alzahin how natin kesi hat ina in kitleyo DB website or link collect exchange WMAT RWS-EIS.com aku Bauch Gila Yaida Tinda Den which had seen the tita Banansin Kesi Belchada Anle Antileyu D Graziani at usbr.gov. That's so spebich egelchi Antileyu Ayendilo Datla Hayuk Egelchi. Daro May 19, yeah. How Banansin Kesi had Ibiwana Inchkiti Ejin. That was all. Next slide, please. Dawa Mushida Azla Alza Lakari. I don't know if you have a few minutes for questions, but one of the questions that I have is will there be any in-person meetings on this? And if so, when? And then another question was, will Lower Log be flooded over? Those are the two that I got. So
I can take the in-person meetings.
okay.
So typically for a project like this, there would be in-person meetings. There were back in 2013, there were public scoping meetings and they were conducted in person in two venues around the project site. But everybody knows that this period of time is special in the fact that in-person meetings aren't a safe choice. So we decided to do it virtually this time. And there will be, that's the reason why it's encouraged and it's very important for people to go to the website and get more information and use this opportunity to submit comments on the website or mail comments in utilizing the address that's on the presentation or on the website or email comments in order to be heard and do that before May 19th. And there will also be some more opportunities to comment coming up in the draft EIS stage. And hopefully the situation with the pandemic is such that those opportunities to comment can be in person and not virtual. But we were lucky in that the chairwoman let us hijack her forum for this. So thank you very much. And that's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you. And Cheryl, Lower Log.
Yeah, so I'll address the Lower Log question. And the initial designs that our consulting firms have provided does show that the Lower Log camping grounds and picnic areas will be flooded, and even discussions of moving the bridge there. So we will know more in detail as we continue those studies, but initially that's what the plan is, or that's what the design looks like, is that those sites will be flooded.
Okay. Jerry, do you have any comments before we close?
No, I just wanted to sing a real short portion of Apache song here. I can't help
there's
but,
there's a question right there. Fishing and boating. Will the new lake have that?
Okay, I can answer that as well, real briefly. But basically, again, going back to the designs of the site, we through this project, we're not directly looking at how recreation will benefit from this. We're looking more at the design and what that will do. And so the releases of the water from the reservoir itself, how much water and demand is going to be needed by the people downstream, from drinking water to irrigation to in-stream flow, just some of the things that we discussed earlier. So you will see a big fluctuation of the water level in that reservoir. And so, but it is something that the tribe will be looking at, is the benefits of recreation of that site.
Okay, thank you. Jerry?
All right. Cheryl is my classmate. She's from class of 86. We grew up together. I'm very proud of her. She has done well in taking over what Bob Broccoli has laid the foundation on with, I can't remember the attorney from before Bob, but also the Honorable late Chairman Lupi. I was very fortunate because of Chairman's age at the time. The tribal council made it possible for me to travel with him. And so we went to Washington, D.C. at the Department of Interior. And during Mr. Lupi's presentation, he kind of stopped and put things in perspective and just did a prayer. I kind of want to do that, but in a way of a song here. Today I was asked to be one of the mountain spirit dancers today at CBQ. And I couldn't because of what's going on in the background. My daughter's going to be graduating on Monday. It's a big day for my family here. So I wanted to use this day and tomorrow to prep the yard and stuff. But anyway, back to this here. So with that, just a little calming things down. Think water, you know how it sounds when it flows real quiet, and the serenity and the peace and all the intentions that we want to have clean drinking water for over 100 years. This is going to help our people at CBQ, Carrizo, and Cedar Creek, all of us, and it'll probably help the whole state as well. To be is it, to be is it, to be stowy ya, hana ine ya hine ya hine. Ayo wele ya, ayo wele ya, ayo wele ya hine ya hine ya, ayo wele ya, ayo wele ya, ayo wele ya hine ya hine. Kohana ko disela, nikana ko wahi ye he yo ne se ne la, now go show jen le ne la, hanitin shabisla gore yal hana, hey bichala tashila, da hasline ano de se la, hey yo wine ya he ne, ayo wele ya, ayo wele ya. So thank you, Bureau of Reclamation, and all the people involved from the Department of Interior, the Governor's Office, our state legislatures, our state senators and House of Representatives from the United States of America. All of those behind the scenes and those that are not with us, a lot of the previous tribal council members and tribal leaders that were involved in this. Now we come to this generation, and we're moving. So 5 major events in the future. Right now we're in the middle of one, closing on May 19, and then after that just 5 more steps, and then construction. Wow. So hope it'll all go well, all go smooth, and that our dreams and efforts will produce benefits for all of us in the future. Thank you.
Water is life. There's a lot of things that you could replace in your life, but you, the people, we cannot replace you. We cannot replace Mother Earth. We only got one, so we need to take care of her so she can take care of us and the water as well. It is a very, very sacred source and a blessing to everybody and all of Earth's items. Everything has water in it. And for over 40 years, the White Mountain Apache people, we have been working to get safe drinking water for our people, and looking forward to the day when everybody can just turn on a faucet to wherever they're living and get clean, reliable drinking water. Everywhere in the United States, we have water, but there's some poor pockets in the country that do not have access to clean drinking water, and we're one of them, and we're working to get that for our people. And as long as we go forward in humility, with integrity, with diplomacy, working with one another, along with Bureau of Reclamation and everyone else who has ever had a part in all of this, including our ancestors who prayed and worked hard, diligently for us, the beneficiaries, so we could carry the stream through. We're on a next level of the next horizon, and we're working all together. And this is what you call teamwork with our project manager, Cheryl Pelzo, an Apache woman at the lead in that process moving forward. I'm sure Chairman Lupi, the late Bill Veeder, are looking down with smiles on their faces and cheering us on, along with all of our ancestors who have gone before and the people who have worked currently now diligently, Mike Watson, Robert Broccoli, Cheryl Pelzo, Bureau of Reclamation, all of their partners. And I cannot ever say that one gentleman's name. Cheryl, you probably know him. He's been with us for 40 years too. Mike's colleague starts with the letter K. I can't think of his last name.
Kazmark. Mike
Kazmark, yes. And everyone else who's had a part, all the tribal leaders for over 40 years to now, the work that has been done. And we're almost there across the finish line to that, where we can have that as a reality. That's why you children out there, go and get your education, go and learn your trade, go to school, so that you can be a part of this building process of this minor flat dam. It would be so humbling and so neat to see Apaches with their skilled trades working to put this into reality. Think about that and how awesome that would be. So continue your education. We are always learning. It lays the foundation for what is before. And remember that you are sacred. Water is sacred. And always remember that you're not one in a million, but you're once in a lifetime. And here's our opportunity for our people to get what we have been working for so long. And thank you to all of you. That's why your comments, your questions are so important, because you have a role in all of this. Thank you so much. Thank you to both of you for being our guests today. Jerry, always a great job co-hosting the show. And all of you watching today, if your family didn't watch the show right now, it'll be up on our page and on YouTube, and also on the website here. If you could put that up, Mr. Producer. The website where people can go to for the Rural Water Project, it's right there. Go there and learn more about the project. It's been 40 years in the making, and maybe you weren't born then, but your ancestors were alive back then, and it's been going onward for this long. So very important project. Thank you to everybody who watched today. And Jerry, do you have the closing prayer you could do?
Yeah. Before we go, back there, your son is going to graduate as well. You had one already got his master's degree in China. And now your youngest daughter finished her first freshman year at NAU, following your footsteps. And then now the middle son, Grant, is graduating on Monday.
Yeah.
as is my daughter. And I just wanted to decorate a little bit. I know, not trying to, brainwash people or anything like that. but yeah, we're just proud. My goodness, my mother and my father are not young anymore, and they barely get around, it seems. But I'm so glad that they're here to see this and experience this, and so they were asking questions, good questions that I didn't even know. Simple questions like, when is the graduation? Where is the graduation? So I just kind of barely learned these things. It's going to be a virtual one, but anyway, to all you graduates from NAU and the University of Arizona, um, to community colleges and other universities in the state of Arizona and out of Arizona, congratulations. Thank you for your efforts. You just saw about an hour's and a half, maybe no hour, about 15 minutes program on something very important that the chairwoman is taking by the horns right now. And so not too long ago, she, as the Arizona Indian Gaming Association chairperson, led the group to recently get our gaming compact renewed, and that is not an easy feat. Her and Kealoha Duma, our tribal attorney, worked very hard on that, and Kealoha also working hard with this group on the rural water system. That's two major projects that benefit White Mountain Apache tribe and will benefit eventually Indian country with water. We'll be helping out others probably as well, I imagine. I mean, it's not right now, but it's we just gotta do what we can as the keepers of the headwaters, right up here at our mountain. We get the big snow, and then it melts, and the water eventually goes to Pacific Ocean. It's supposed to, but it gets used in the Valley of Phoenix and spreads out all over Arizona. So anyway, Chairwoman is correct. Learn what you can. I hope Alcha Say High School, the junior high, can take this program and teach it in the classrooms. But yeah. So congratulations, college graduates. We're so proud of you. Thank you, Chairwoman. And then I guess closing. Chairwoman, back to you.
Okay, just very grateful for all of the work that has been done. It's been a long time coming, and we have a core group in the gaming, and there's 5 of us: Councilman Beach, Councilwoman Bush, Gerald Altaha, Councilman, and Vice Chair Casey, and myself as Chairwoman, also Chairperson of AIGA. Takes a lot of work to do that, but that's the core group. Water rights is another level of work that has a lot of professional work people working on it, along with our tribal departments and also the council. It's a moving process. Many thanks to everyone who has put their efforts into that, and our Attorney General and her staff. They do a lot. They go through a lot. And like all legal entities, they also endorse some scrutiny, but that's why they're the attorneys, because they're there to help for the tribe's interest. And also Bob Broccoli, many thanks to Bob Broccoli and his work for Indian country, and mainly for the White Mountain Apache tribe and the work that he does elsewhere. It's a testament to who he is as a person and helping be an advocate for Indian country. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well put, Chairwoman. Okay, well, wonderful program. I know it's a little longer than usual, but it's worth it. It's worth it. I even learned some things as well. And so this is good. 5 major steps ahead yet, and then we will be right there in the thick of things. So who's going to do the closing prayer? I had a person in mind, but he was traveling, so unable to do it. So either, Chairwoman.
Okay. Oh, I can do it.
Okay.
Okay. Big Eldan no hita ashona tala di jin ko sa adasin sa di Wahaba Kedansi ni Jaja no Hansti na Yanas Gana Jesus Christ Kanaurit Ahi Nuha Aila di Jin inde how that is see le you banaurin Jordan tayo ba Kedan Sida ashona tala no cut down di guys ande dan sini inde Duni na di Jin hati no haya rabini lashin indi di Jin ko na round play panatira ke so begin da isti ko to la a shonk no hi kadan sti a hehe no hi chigasha no ha anla chigasha no tin hi bit aya da ko di Jin te hikasa an in de di Jin tan zeloi na exactly out there tu bidai tu no hada sikado lehi dak o stel da haji tu no hawli do lehi biwa out in dera wa hati ba out ini bikena da sti ko sto ndisto nan ta da skeni hati bikik kahi dan zihons ye muhenati kesi da ayo ai dako mi kat dan sti ho do lehi no kat ye inde bana da tiki inde de ta silna os a ha bana tiki nan ta dan slimi ni che chenauti ni jani che chenauti ni che ba adan ti je inde da wa bi kat dan ti ni go san bi kayu de hayu da ni che gasha da li yo ako bi li le ge ibi yo na kai out ka na ti hi bit aye ndini ashora tala ze se get no ha on la da wa inde te ni ko san ni chugashe da ni yo da o ka hi bit aye di ji ko ha na ze hi bit bi kai out ka na ti hi bit aye a he na di ji inde ze se guys an inde don sa yo ba keran tsida ni aye Chigashen desto nini chanya kodi Jin stel baus to hida haji stel baus to le seget aji degit another di do le sibiwa nijan dawa hati how bichoti ibon se di dak on we cut down stick to le nigo son dari jol bi kayo di Jin hayo nada se yo bi cut down stick to le no question li di how ta dasen zile yo no hanaudin ana hehe big eldan shita in dera wa bada kan how ye obus which was ashi bi jiran dishi bishin li do lesh ana di ni chichipa aran di ni jajish kim biji bi kayo na yan is gonna Jesus Christ amen